Hello, my friends. I'm Cameron Coyle, and this is our 9th episode of Fireside. It's crazy to think that when this airs, we have already produced over 20 videos and have hit over 100 subscribers. To all of the supporters of the Zachary Taylor Project out there, I want to give you all a huge thank you for being with us along this journey. We really hope that you are getting something out of all of this, and it just keeps inspiring us to make more content while we continue on during this epidemic. Again, from the bottom of my heart and all of our hearts at the Zachary Taylor Project, thank you. Today is Storytime Sunday, but in a way I'm going to be looking at a broader topic than just one story. What makes a president great? I would like to thank Miss Manning, my 8th grade social studies teacher and lifelong friend, for suggesting this topic to me. My main source today is going to be from Doris Kearns Goodwin, a presidential historian who has devoted much of her life to finding out the reasons as to why presidents were able to lead our country through the darkest of times. Surprisingly, I don't have her book, Leadership in Turbulent Times, whose cover I've transplanted onto my all-encompassing presidential storytime novel here, but I'll be using a lot of the principles she presented in this book and on a History.com article, which I will link you to below in the description, to talk about presidential leadership today. Her work is truly amazing, and I suggest you look into Doris Kearns Goodwin. Allow me to open up my novel so we can start this journey off right. Perfect. I'm going to look at 6 different principles that made successful presidents special. The first principle is actually relaxation. The best leaders know when to let loose a little, actually. Wait, what? Wrote actually twice?
Yeah.
Not gonna say that. I kind of wrote this at like 1 a.m. last night. But yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. The best leaders know when to let loose a little. Doris Kearns Goodwin recalled in other videos the lesson that she learned from Erik Erikson, that having an equal balance of work, love, and play is essential to being happy and at your most productive state. Franklin Roosevelt, in the midst of the tensions that built up to World War II, took a long vacation away from Washington. While he was criticized for blowing off steam, he actually came up with the concept of Lend-Lease with Britain while he was fishing in the ocean. It's understandable that we expect a lot out of our leaders, but some of the men that we admire were best when they were most relaxed. Empathy is the second trait that Goodwin discussed. The ability to put yourself in the same shoes as someone can be a powerful experience and allow you to connect with others in profound ways. Theodore Roosevelt was able to do that by simply gaining a varied worldview of the people around him throughout multiple positions in his life. And Lyndon Johnson was deeply affected by his experiences teaching impoverished children at the Texas border when he was younger. He made that experience a focal point to establishing his policies to fight poverty. I never thought then, in 1928, that I would be standing here in 1965, Johnson said in his "We Shall Overcome" address. It never occurred to me in my fondest dreams that I might have the chance to help the sons and daughters of those students and to help people like them all over this country. But now I do have that chance, and I'll let you in on a secret. I mean to use it. Goodwin stated that, quote, "The ability to control one's impulses, especially one's anger, is an important leadership trait because you're setting a tone of mutual respect for the people that are working with you." Over the course of history, presidents have found people to be livid at for a lot of different reasons. Some were certainly hot-headed, but restraint was a quality that seems to be best suited to the position. As a mental cool-down exercise, Abraham Lincoln would write a scathing letter to the person he was mad at. But the trick was that he would never send any of those letters. Thomas Jefferson was quoted as saying, "When angry, count 10 before you speak. If very angry, 100. This restraint has given presidents throughout our history the ability to think reasonably and clearly, while retaining the respect of all. Communication is a skill that many of our modern presidents have been able to pull off. Early leaders like Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, and yes, even Zachary Taylor, were not great speakers. But over time, the most successful presidents have been those that took advantage of the new technological mediums to reach out to more and more Americans and people around the world. Just as FDR took to the radio to bring his message to millions, John F. Kennedy's good looks won him over the hearts of many Americans. The words, appearance, and tone that a president sets in his communication is important in conveying a new direction for the country to head in. And the most successful presidents realized that and adapted to it. Another trait that sets apart great leaders from bad ones is in the ability to be open to new ideas. It can be very easy to be set in stone and remain stubborn, and in some cases it may be the right course of action. But being able to listen and hear new perspectives on different situations is critical to becoming a beloved and productive leader, especially as president. After a contentious primary in 1860, President Lincoln decided to choose what would be considered an odd assortment of men for cabinet positions. It was odd because nearly all of them had completely opposed Lincoln at some point during that primary. But it was in these picks where Lincoln was able to make great progress as president. By sitting and absorbing their opinions in cabinet meetings, the president was able to have in his arsenal a broader scope of ideas, which helped him become a more inclusive and understanding leader. His team of rivals served him well as president. As I once heard Coach Bill Cowher say, the best leaders are the best listeners, and the presidency is no exception. Lastly, resilience is a common thread amongst our high-achieving presidents. Life is tough, especially for men seeking political gain and progress. There were many times where presidents have faced adversity in their time. But a president cannot be discouraged by a certain result. They must continue onwards in their course. A president must be driven to see their goals through, no matter how hard they might have been. Abraham Lincoln was driven by a fear of not making enough of an impression upon the world that he should be remembered for. No matter how hard he may have fallen, Lincoln continued his struggle to fight for his beliefs and convictions. The same could be said for Theodore Roosevelt, whose condition of asthma as a kid inspired his transformation into an energetic leader. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was stricken with polio in his 30s and was paralyzed for nearly the rest of his life. His resilience, however, showed through. There were stories of him climbing upstairs, dripping in sweat, struggling to make it 1 foot farther. But every single time, he found a way to make it up those stairs. He once remarked that if you have spent 2 years in bed trying to wiggle your big toe, everything else seems easy. Those experiences of growing through past grievances prepare a president with psychological tools that could bring him or her through any crisis in office. Situations in American history are ever changing. Our executive branch has become the great initiator of policy, something that the men in those positions and the will of the people truly desired. More than ever, these traits, guided by creativity and integrity, make for a president that can win over their country so that they can lead them on a course to a brighter future. And with that, we have reached the end. Oh, it's like a voice crack right there. We have reached the end of our story. I would like to thank Miss Manning for the suggestion and Doris Kearns Goodwin for providing the academic framework for this episode. Down in the description below, I will set up some links so you can check out some more videos from Mrs. Goodwin. If you have any more suggestions, you can email us at Cameron@ZacharyTaylorProject.com. We hope to hear some more suggestions so we can give you the things that you would like to see. I've had this great, beautiful beard here for almost 3 weeks now, but the offer still stands from the other video. If you don't like it, let me know. Comment below. It's a nice little rhyme right there. And I'll either shave it or keep it. So, again, hitting the mark of 100 subscribers is such an amazing feat. You can check out one of my latest videos of me singing my AP US History final song from last year about Zachary Taylor, and feel free to subscribe and watch some of our other videos and series, especially our newest series, the POTUS Classic. Also, we plan to have our next Taylor's Tales episode about the Battle of Resaca de la Palma out on May 9th, so stay tuned. We appreciate your views, and we hope you can take something out of these projects. The light at the end of the tunnel is drawing nearer. The skies are getting a little brighter. If we hang together and be resilient in the face of this epidemic, we will come out as a better people on the other side. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.